And we are rolling on June 1st, 2017, where we are about to hear a persuasive speech. Oh, by the way, it's not a sunny day. The sunshine is not shining, but we still like it here in Los Angeles, don't we, Emily? Yes, we do. Okay. So Emily stands before us in the power stance, feet a little wider, managing attention. Close the book. Yeah, thank you. Communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name. Feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi, I'm Emily.
Hi, Emily.
In America, nearly 25% of adults fall into the obese category. Melissa Healy, LA Times. That means that about 6 of us in this class has the potential of becoming obese in our future lives. That's pretty crazy, right? So today I want to persuade you to add workouts into your daily routines. I will give you 2 reasons why you should add workouts into your daily routines, some actions you can take, and the benefits you will receive from doing this. If you felt sluggish today, you felt sluggish yesterday, it could be because you're not adding enough workouts into your daily routines. I know that when I don't work out enough in my week, I feel really sluggish, I feel unhealthy, and I'm not as productive in my day. So that is why I am trying to persuade you to work out more in your life. So the first reason I am trying to persuade you to work out more on a daily basis is to improve your mental health. My support for this is my own personal experience. As I told you guys in my personal commitment speech, after continually working out, my confidence grew within myself. I saw myself in a healthier light and my mental health really skyrocketed. I can say that I now love myself and I am really enjoying the life that I'm taking and the path that I'm doing, and that this is a lot because I am working out almost on a daily basis. I feel strengthened by this issue because working out was my sense of motivation for a better life. I want people to know that working out not only works out your body, but it works out your mind. Working out really pulled me out of a deep, dark, and unhealthy place, and I am a strong advocate that it makes my days so much better, and I am way more productive because of it. So that is one reason why you should work out every single day. The second reason I want you to work out every day is to improve your overall health. And my support for this is from an article in LA Times by Melissa Healy. She wrote that working out works out the most important muscle in your body, the heart. And this is extremely important for future purposes. Right now, we might think that our health and our daily activities are okay, which they might be, but maybe in 20 to 30 years, we are more prone to heart attacks. So to avoid issues like this, like Melissa Healy wrote, start working out now. We all know the freshman 15, and I can say it is truly a real thing. So to help us all out, I encourage you to work out at least 30 minutes a day. Finding healthy options on campus is also really hard, so when this doesn't happen, I encourage you to run a mile, maybe 2 miles a day. This will only take 20 minutes, and it will really improve your overall health. I feel strongly about this issue because I know how important it is to maintain a healthy lifestyle now, so when we are adults, we have a healthy base to start our lives. Recently, my aunt had a heart attack in the middle of the night. My mom woke me up and I was devastated because my aunt is like my second mom. I didn't know what was happening. We had little information. I didn't know if she was going to survive. Luckily, she did, but I'm advocating for this to you today because I don't want this happening to any of you in our futures or to anyone that you love. So that is my second reason why you should work out every day. Third, I'm going to give you some concrete actions that you can take to make this happen. The first action is you need to get yourself in a gym. And this is the hardest part. It's half the battle, but I promise when you're there, working out becomes so easy. You should wake up an hour early to get in a 30-minute workout, or instead of taking a 3-hour nap, take a 1-hour nap so you can fit in a quick workout. The second action you can take is to find a buddy to go to the gym with. They will motivate you, they will push you to go, and you will feel guilty bailing if you already made plans with them to go to the gym. My third action that you can take is, instead of driving and Ubering places, walk. I know you all go to Westwood for food or to go see movies or to go shop, so instead of taking a 2-minute car ride, take a 5 to 10 minute walk. You will be benefiting your body and you won't even feel like you're being that active. It's not painful, I promise. And when you do these things, you will see benefits. Your mental and physical health will improve. You will be able to go through your day more positively and more active, and you are preventing heart attacks in your future. So in summary, I have told you 2 reasons why you should work out on a daily basis and some actions you can take, as well as some benefits that you will receive if you do this. I know there should be no doubt in this room that I believe in the benefits of working out every single day. As I told you in the beginning of my speech, 6 of us in this class has the potential of being obese when we're adults. If you want to live a healthier and longer lifestyle, I encourage you to start working out now. Whether that's going on a walk or a hike with your friends, it's as simple as that. So start your life today and work out. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's start on this side. Oh, look who's here, Moses.
The time is 5:08.
5:08. Very good. 5:08. Okay, rock and roll.
Really like the speech. Excellent structure.
Name?
Hi, I'm Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Really like the speech. Excellent structure. Very good flow. And I thought your supporting details were really strong. It definitely inspired me and got me thinking about my own daily activities. So, good job.
Thank you, Brian. Oh, you weren't here. Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Kiara.
Hi,
I
Kiara.
also really liked your speech. I thought your ideas were really concrete. I think only one thing is when you were walking, you kind of looked down at some points. I think you were trying to make sure you were staying in like the spot, but just maybe keep your eyes up. That makes sense.
Good. Emily, you look very fit. And so I think this was a fitting topic, and that is something to consider. And I say that because I've had people say donate blood that haven't donated blood, and et cetera, et cetera. So I think it was a wise choice. Now, let's take it from the top and talk a few ways that this could be even more persuasive. Okay. Emily, you started with what I call an arresting fact. 25% of all adults fall into the obese category, according to Melissa Healy. Who's she? I don't know.
She's from the LA Times. I found the article through our research library.
Right. But what I want you to learn, let's make this a learning experience for everyone. I want you to learn to qualify your sources. And so if she's just a staff writer, great. If she's if it's an op-ed piece and she's an authority in exercise, let us know that, because that builds the credibility of who's saying this, see? Because it's not enough to Melissa Healy. It could be a letter to the editor. It could be anything. So build the credibility by saying who your source is. And so if you don't have the qualifications of your sources, folks, everybody, write them in now. Okay. Enough said on that. Your thesis preview, excellent. We had a good roadmap. You accented it with your voice. Your SIG statement was good. You started with your audience and said, if you feel sluggish, and then you said, I know when I feel sluggish. That's the problem. On your first reason, you alluded to your PC speech, and I wish that you had just spent a little more time. I know you didn't have a lot of time of refreshing us about that, so we had a better reference, and so the illusion was a little more alive. Okay? But this is what we call personal support for your point, and clearly that is a valid way of supporting a point, as we saw from the examples. So that's perfectly fine. Now, on your how you feel, one of the things you said, you pulled yourself out of a dark place. That would have been a perfect thing to talk about a little bit more, because that's nice and juicy. You know, I felt really sad all the time. I walked around with a long face. You know, I'm getting this in a minute. I didn't gain the freshman 15. I gained the freshman. I gained the freshman 30 or something. You know, let us see a little of you. Not, you know, remember the authenticity and being real and being you. Yeah. Okay. So your first reason, other than those things, was fine. Okay. Your second reason. And again, I compliment you on using the Chicago style of footnoting. Thank you. And in your bibliography, you again quoted Melissa Healy. I won't belabor the point, but your point here was heart attack. And you talked about the freshman 15, and I think that you could have talked a little bit about that. I was disgusted with myself. Something I wasn't taking care of myself. Something more elaboration there. Okay. On your story that you told, if you didn't feel comfortable giving your aunt's name, call her Aunt Betty or whatever. But you know, a story needs detail. And my aunt, went to the hospital, went to St. John's Hospital, went to the UCLA Med, went to the Ronald Reagan Med Center. Just a few details to make it real. Yeah. And I like the way you advocated in the end of your story there. That was good. On your concrete actions, they were very specific. Although you said get yourself into a gym, it sounds silly, but get there. And I guess that's true. I guess you're not. Some people have approached this speech, Emily, by saying, "Oh, you don't need to join a gym. Just walk upstairs, park a mile away from your work, and walk the half mile. Do little things that you don't have to." Take out a $200 and hawk your life for 10 years to join the ballet, blah, 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 or whatever it is out there now. So, okay. On find a friend, that's very good. Again, there are studies that say when you exercise with somebody that bolsters your motivation, keeps you going, and keeps you doing it. So that would have lent itself to some more support. Walk to Westwood, don't take Uber. Yeah, that sounds good. Your benefits were good and stressed to the audience, so I like that. What I want you to notice tonight when you watch yourself on YouTube is that you have a habit of only gesturing in the lower part of your body. Something about at your wrist, you feel you have to end your gestures, so they stay down here. And I would actively practice bringing them up through your upper torso and occasionally come up like this, because it's a little strange to watch you keep it down there.
Okay.
I don't know if you've been told that or noticed that, but have you?
Not yet.
Okay, well, I'm a first. There you go. As Ray Bream would say, there you have it. Okay. Okay, to the back. Your summary was good, and your tie back was excellent. So I like that, the way you came back to the full circle, and that was good. Your canais, don't sway, have vocal variety, and keep your body cheated forward when walking. You did, except the person pointed out you looked down at the ground a little, and you didn't quite talk all the time when you were walking, so that would have been better. Thank you. Let's talk about, did you have a simple message? I think so. What was unexpected in here?
I tried to shock the audience with my 6 people in here.
Okay, so made it personal to the room.
Yeah.
Good.
So I tried to draw in their attention.
Okay. It wasn't too abstract. I thought you kept it concrete. I've commented on the credibility. You're very credible, as I commented earlier, but you could have had more credibility with your sources. Remember, you're making an argument from authority, Emily. So if you're making an argument from authority, you have to give them authority. We can't read your footnote, right? So you have to do it orally. Emotion. Okay, how are you? I felt you could have done more in emotion, but how were you consciously trying to make an emotional connection with your audience?
I think by engaging them and saying, like, if you felt this way or if this is what you're experiencing, like, I'm experiencing it too, like, you're not alone type of thing, and, like, this is the solution that I've found.
So empathy. Okay, good. Some of the other things that I suggested, like the freshman 30 or how scared and depressed you were about your aunt or that sort of thing, and relive and re-feel those emotions. Remember, felt sensing that we learned in other speeches will work very well that way. The stories, I'll just say you had some. I love the more the merrier, and the more you could have put in, the better. But you did a nice job. Would you mind flicking on just the front light, please? My camera is giving me a signal that it's not quite very light. Okay. Just the front one, yeah.
Is that good?
No, that's bad. Okay, hit the big white thing, and then hit the other light. Now hit the other one and close off the back. Yeah, okay, click that.
Close the first one.
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong?
Try hit that and then hit the second one. Try hitting the second one now. Okay, that's good. That's fine. It's more like that. Yeah, that's better. Thank you, Emily. Are you a D?
Yeah.
Just a minute. Hang on just a minute. Not yet. Not yet.
Like, wait in the door. Wait, see, we did like my first speech when that happened to me, and everyone got it. No, we made a line, and yeah, I was just like, wait. Ollie's telling me to sit down.
Sorry, we were over here discussing it already too. Who's going next?
Yeah, you snooze your words.
I call it, like, Kiara.
Okay.
How is it going, by
Are you gonna persuade us, like, going back to tomorrow?
I'm just carrying it.
We got that mark.
Do you want to go? I was going to call on Isabel, but go ahead.
Do you want to go?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, you're taller. Okay.
I'm going to, don't worry.
Step that way, please. Yeah. Okay. Alex stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally. Get the books closed. Finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name. Feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi everyone, I'm Alec.
Hi, Alec.
And last Wednesday, the club I'm a part of was lucky enough to have a speaker come and talk to us about her experiences being politically active in college. She was an advocate for women's reproductive rights and called for her university's insurance to cover birth control. She actually presented this case in front of Congress, and in response, she was called a slut on national radio. Her name was Sandra Fluke. Today I'm here to persuade you to increase your civic engagement. I'm going to give you 2 reasons why you should increase your civic engagement and 3 actions you can take, as well as benefits that will occur. We as young people are still feeling out our interests, our beliefs, and our values. And we also live in a time of extreme political, like unrest. I don't know why I forgot that. And it's because of this overlap that we are so overlooked. Just because we haven't sat behind a desk and worked in a monotonous office job for 30 years, our voice doesn't matter. But I'm here to tell you that that is so wrong and so outdated. And by increasing our civic engagement, we can prove that. So the first reason I want you to increase your civic engagement is because youth involvement right now is, in a word, pitiful. A study by the Pew Research Center on U.S. Census data showed that millennials are about 31% of the voting age population. But in the 2016 presidential election, we only made up 15.7% of the vote. That's less than half of what we could have been. And why is this? We had a 43.4% turnout rate. Less than half of people our age went out and voted in the biggest political race in America. Less than half of people in this room, according to that statistic, didn't vote for president. And the midterm elections, if you know what those are, the ones that happen every 2 years between presidential elections, we had a 16% turnout rate in 2014. To me, that is incredibly discouraging. We are this generation that's supposed to be so energetic and passionate and enthusiastic, and less than half of us can go out and vote for our president, and I wonder why that is. The second reason I want you to increase your civic engagement is because, for better or for worse, policy issues and the politicians that back them directly affect us. I know you probably all remember Michelle Obama's school lunch program. My high school lost hot Cheetos, and I was pretty ticked as a sophomore. As well, I don't know if you know this, but if policy does not change, Social Security returns are supposed to reach about 79%, according to CNN, in 18 years from now. Which means when we retire, we won't be getting all the benefits we paid for. Which means we might have to work after we retire. And as well, I don't think I have to go into too much detail about how recent travel bans and the wall might affect us or have affected us directly. When I think about how these policy issues and these people affect us directly, I feel kind of a fire inside of me to get something done. We are 31% of the people that can vote. Why aren't we utilizing that voice? I did this all just hit me this past year that I should do something about it. I joined Bruin Dems, I ran for board, I went to Sacramento, I joined campaigns, and it felt like I was making a difference. Now that I've given you 2 reasons why you should increase your civic engagement, I will give you 3 actions you can take and benefits you will receive. The first action is stay informed, do your research, and take a stance on issues. Right now, as I'm speaking, our president is announcing his decision on the Paris Climate Agreement and whether or not we're going to pull out or not. Second reason I want you to increase your civic engagement, or the second way you can, is by joining some kind of advocacy group, organized advocacy group, because being organized and mobilizing as a group is the most effective way to get things done. Whether that be campaigning for a candidate, donating to your favorite organization every month, putting a sign in your yard, or even, if you're brave enough, running yourself. These are all things you can do to join some kind of organized mobilization. And finally, get out there and vote. After doing your research and supporting what you want and who you want, get out there and vote. Because we need to overturn this idea that people our age don't care. When you do these things, the benefits are pretty obvious. First of all, as I alluded to, we can overturn youth apathy. We can show that more than half of us care about who our president is, or more than 16% of us care who runs our House and Congress. And as well, you can see direct policy influences on yourself. 2 policies that the youth overwhelmingly supported, marijuana legalization and equal marriage rights, both passed in California. That shows, and maybe they would have passed even easier if more of us would have supported them. In summary, I've given you 2 reasons why you should increase your civic engagement and 3 ways you can do so, and the benefits you'll receive. There should be no doubt in this room that you should increase your civic engagement and use the voice you've been given. So to finish Fluke's narrative, she graduated from Georgetown cum laude and became a successful and effective advocate for women's rights, women's intersectional rights in the United States, and even ran for office in California. And what this shows me is that the youth can have a power in our current political situation, that we don't have to be overlooked because of our age. And I hope that's something you've all learned today after the speech, as much as Fluke showed me last Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you.
457.
457, sweet. All right, Moses.
Hi, Moses.
Hi, Moses.
As someone who studied politics and who wants to be a political person, it was really inspiring. One thing that I really liked about your speech is I think everybody could see how passionate you were, and I think conveying the emotions to the audience is one of the most effective ways you can communicate with your audience. So I think it's really.
Thank you, Moses. Kiara.
Oh, I just went.
Oh, sorry. Luke.
Hi, Alec.
Hi.
I'm Luke, by the way.
Hi, Luke.
Hi, Luke.
One thing, I mean, you had a ton of info in there, and not a whole lot of time to say it. So, I mean, maybe just try and slow down a little bit next time, but still stay within the time frame. I know it's a really hard thing to do, but that's the only thing I noticed, that you, at some points, felt really rushed. But that was just to try and get everything in. It's good.
Okay, good. Alec, enjoyed your passion. Agree with that. Take your hands out of your pockets. Bad habit. Well, guys, you started with a woman that came to your club, whatever club that was. What was the club?
Berlin Democrats at UCLA.
Berlin Democrats. Well, tell us, you know. And she talked about reproductive rights and birth control. And she wanted the university insurance to pay for birth control. Okay. And you found this to be, well, you also told us she was called a slut on public radio. And her name was Sandra Fluke. So, that was a good grabber. But that was a mouthful of information. Now, let me comment on just some of the stuff about it. I like the fact that you chose something that just happened to you. Not quite positive. I guess for this group, paying for reproductive rights is a good call. But I would just caution you, not for every group would that be an automatically good call for audience
just
analysis.
To show that like someone our age was getting involved. Like,
right, and then that was your main point, is someone getting involved. But just as I found out we had a big, as you know, the BDS debate on campus, and between that, abortion, and we did one in the fall on whether we should let Syrian immigrants come in. These are like, wow. These are people who have some strong feelings about these things, so you have to be careful on that stuff. On your thesis, it was perfect. On your significance statement, you said young people are going through times where we're starting to figure ourselves out, discovering our attitudes, beliefs, and values. We live in a political time of unrest. And because we haven't worked in a monotonous office job yet, you said you feel the youth have a belief that our voices don't matter.
that's what we're told a lot of the time.
Yeah, I would have appreciated some evidence as to the reason for apathy, okay? Because it's studied. So you went after civic engagement, and I wondered if it was going to be too vague a term, but you got specific on your action, so it worked out okay. On your first reason was because youth are not participating, and you cited the Pew Research Center. Let me remind everyone, cite your dates. Your dates are important to credibility. In 2017, in a real recent study, so it shows you've really done your research, in the last presidential election, and with your voice, only 43%, only 16.3%. Yeah. Make your statistics come alive and mean something. And so then I liked your feeling about how you felt discouraged about this because you feel that we shouldn't be apathetic. And I agree that at a public university in particular, and in a democracy, we have a responsibility to promote that value of public participation. So I think that's out there for right pickings if you couch it correctly. Your second reason for increased civic engagement was, you said, better or worse policies that affect you directly. And you you first talked about, I guess, was it Cheetos that you lost? And so I guess you assumed that if you, I don't know how to take that one apart, but I guess if you had voted for
It was just like an example
Obama's
that like
opponent,
these things happen to
they
us.
wouldn't have done Cheetos. I don't know, but I kind of get your point. I guess I get your point. On the travel ban and the wall, I would only say to you, be careful as a Bruin Democrat that you don't assume that everyone agrees with your worldview.
I try not to like attack
enforcing
it. Just,
immigration laws means you're a racist, right?
I just try to say that it affects people, not that like I'm
Yeah.
gonna take a side. It's just that
It appears that you were. Okay, and then I think your next point of the fire inside of me was really excellent. It brought it back and brought your passion back. I do agree with Luke's comment that I felt you had 2 of these this morning or something. You're really rolling, you know.
get in there.
Yeah. Do your research and find your passion. Join an advocacy group. And doing these things, vote. Those are all things that will increase civic engagement, but I still am wondering about the marrow of the issue. Really, why are people so apathetic? Why don't people care? I'm not sure you really got at that. The benefits were good. The equal merit and marijuana laws were, I guess bread. I won't use that bad pun, but yeah, issues that were near and dear some people's hearts. So that was fine. Summary was good. Conclusion was good. And the tie back to the fluke story was perfect. Can I follow a thread better in the speech, have vocal variety and emphasis, and vary your eye contact around the room? How did it go?
I definitely followed a thread better. My last speech, I kind of like lost track of what I was saying, so like this time I definitely knew where I was going a lot better.
Yeah, good.
And then I think I had emphasis. I was speaking a little fast because I had so much to get in there. But I think I did emphasize like what I mostly care about because I guess people said I was passionate. And then my eye contact, I feel like I looked around the room, so like I think I saw everyone's faces at least once.
Okay, good. By the way, just to, I don't want to rain on your parade, but about a minute ago, President Trump announced that we will be withdrawing from the Paris Accord.
Yeah, I saw that.
And
I got that right when you said that.
No,
And I will be
I knew.
lecturing on this at 2:00 if you want to come to a discussion on this and vote.
Yeah, I
and
knew. I
vote
just
with your voice.
didn't want to like bring up something like that people might like get angry about. So I was just like, we're going either way. But like, I knew which way we went.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the stickiness of this speech. Was the idea simple? I guess. Did you toy with or play with other synonyms for civic engagement, or did you play around with that at all, or did you think that was the best encapsulation?
I thought that was the best. I was almost gonna go with like you should vote more, but then I thought like that
That's
would be,
real specific.
yeah,
isn't it?
and like I wouldn't be able to talk about doing other things like joining groups and
Okay.
stuff. And I felt like this was the most like the like broad enough, but also narrow enough term to like capture what I want people to do. Like just get involved.
Okay, good. What was unexpected?
I definitely think the whole Sandra Fluke thing was unexpected because like we have these like conflicting voices at us, like get involved, but then this girl did and she kind of got destroyed for it. And then like, and then also I think the statistics on like youth involvement are pretty like surprising because we go to UCLA and we see a lot of people like really care about things and they're out there using their voice, but then like overall like only 40% of us are like voting, so it's kind of unexpected for a lot of people. That
Yeah. One thing I did want to comment on is, I hope it changes, but politics has become almost a body contact sport now, and merely being called a slut on public radio seems pretty tame compared to what that red-haired so-called comedian did with President Trump's head.
pretty distasteful.
That was beyond disgusting. And gosh, we've really crossed some lines, haven't we? Every night at 11:30 we get a strong batch of it. In any case, that's what you thought was unusual with Sandra Fluke. You have something you want to share? Share.
Oh no, we were just talking,
We're talking about that
the
picture.
picture.
The
With Kathy Griffin.
Kathy Griffin.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, emotion. Let's talk about how that was all working out for you.
I definitely think for emotion, I feel like probably every person in this room has had a time where like somebody who's like older than them has made them feel like they don't have the presence that they deserve. So like,
Yeah.
I feel like that was definitely one of my biggest emotional messages. Like, I think we've all been through this. Like, this is something that we should pay attention to and try
Yeah.
to overturn.
Okay. What I saw from my perspective was that you had kind of an indignation going on that was pretty compelling, and I think that's what Moses was referring to, that kind of like slight indignation, not excessively indignant. Like, for example, I saw one of the speakers at the BDS debate was excessively emotional, and it hurt him, I think. But you had just a right amount of a passion and kind of you were slightly pissed off about all this, and it showed, and it was effective. Okay. But what I'm after, remember, is I don't want us to lose the lesson of felt sensing, remembering the anger we felt when President X was elected or candidate V was elected, and by 13 votes or something, you're like, gee whiz, that's a small amount. Some difference could have been made, yeah. As far as your credibility of your research, with the exception of citing the year, it was pretty good. I think you could have dug deeper in finding out. It's a really complicated question, but I think you could have dug deeper. And your stories were good. You shared with us that you ruined Democrats and you went to a lecture, that sort of thing. So overall, I think this was an excellent speech and a good job, and you showed great improvement over the quarter. Thank you. Okay, I called on Isabel, yeah.
Do you want the self-evaluation connected or separate?
Yeah, not connected. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's after the bibliography, and then that's my outline for this one.
Okay, good. Just a moment, give me a moment to... Oh, you're a different size. Okay, let me move forward now. Okay. Isabel, undo your hands. Let them be loose. Shake them out. Shake out the tension. You're in a nice power stance. Managing the tension. Communicating. Are you asleep? Jesus. Moses, you don't sleep in my class. That's what home and beds are for. Managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes in the front and the center. Say your name. Feel can you get your hair behind your ears? I can't see your face. Yeah, that's better. You have a bungee cord for your hair? No.
I do have a bungee cord.
Perfect. That's better. Good. Remember, you always want your face to show when you're doing an oral presentation, folks. That's much better. Better, good, okay. Excellente, okay. Okay, Isabel, rock and roll.
Hi, I'm Isabel.
Hi, Isabel.
So I have this one dance competition I always used to go to where the award ceremony judge would always let us know that the scores for that day depended on one person's opinion of one performance on one particular day.
Essentially, they were implying that we should not let one person's opinion affect our ultimate perception of ourselves and the measure of our dancing abilities. Today, I want to persuade you all to use rejection as a positive tool for change and not as something to be afraid of. So the UCLA Board of Admissions for undergraduates last year for fall 2016, out-of-state students over 20,000 applied, but less than 5,000 got accepted. That's about 22%, which is less than a quarter of the people getting accepted. Sometimes I have to remind myself of this and really think about how far I've come. College is often the first place most people face really big-time rejection, and it can be devastating. But we are still so young, and we still have so much to prove. I don't want a little rejection now or the fear of a big rejection later to really keep us from thinking that we can impact the world and that we can still chase our dreams. So the first reason I want you to use rejection as a motivator for positive change is because it's ultimately going to make you happier in life. One of my best friends from home, Brian, wanted to apply to California our senior year of high school, but when it came time to send in the applications, he got scared and he played it safe and he ended up at a small school in Connecticut. And all fall quarter this year, he would text me about how miserable he was there, how he didn't like it, how he regretted not trying to go to California. So he decided to try to transfer. And he put all this effort and energy into writing this one essay. He sent it to me to edit. I think he sent it to a bunch of people to edit. And he ended up getting into Chapman University for creative writing. I feel that his fear of rejection senior year really kept him from applying. But then last year he was able to use that to motivate him to put a lot of work and effort into this essay so that it would translate to the application board that he really deserved a spot there. And he's in and he's very happy. So the second reason that I really want you to use rejection as a motivator for positive change and to not be afraid of it is because in the end it's going to make you more confident about yourself. I know this from personal experience. As a dancer, I have done lots of auditions. I've had lots of critique from judges and people about my dancing, my body, and it's made me increasingly self-critical. This I especially noticed when I came to school. I wanted to join one of the hip-hop dance teams at school, but I was really nervous because I didn't have much experience in style, and a lot of people out here do, and I felt very intimidated and criticized myself. At first, after I did eventually make it onto a team. Afterwards, though, I was very self-conscious and never really got good spaces in the pieces until I re-looked at myself and evaluated myself and really decided to commit to learning the choreography and dancing it confidently at the auditions. And after I did that, I surprised myself with how well I did. I feel that often we let rejection, we think it's like a personal attack on ourselves and we think it means we're a failure. But instead, I want people to look at rejection as a way to learn how to do something differently or more creatively and to ultimately be more confident in yourself. So third, I'm going to give you some concrete actions you can take to really use rejection as a positive tool. First, you need to see yourself as confident and recognize your own self-worth without the validation of others. The validation needs to come from within. Second, you really need to be okay and comfortable self-examining yourself and looking closely at yourself. I know when Professor Miller sends out the YouTube videos, it can often be really awkward to have to sit there and watch yourself, and it's easy to point out all the things you did wrong, which is good because then you can learn from them, but it's also good to recognize your strengths and further those more too. And the third thing I want you to do is I really want you to not take rejection personally. Sometimes it's very random. An admissions board will pick someone who's in-state over out-of-state because of budget, or the choreographer in a dance piece will like someone who's taller over someone who's shorter. Sometimes you can't control rejection, so you really can't let it control your own perception of yourself. And if you do these things, you're going to recognize that as you're more confident, it's going to translate and people are going to recognize it and be attracted to it, and you'll probably get rejected less. And you're also going to surprisingly become numb to rejection. The word will hold less weight and it'll not affect you as much as it used to. So in summary, I've given you 2 reasons why you should use rejection as a motivator for positive change instead of having it bring you down. And I've given you 3 concrete ways in which you can do this. There should be absolutely no doubt in anyone's mind that they should use rejection to their benefit and they should not let it bring them down. So whether it's a job interview, an audition, or a bad breakup, you can't let one person have a strong opinion of one aspect of your life on one day that completely determines your self-worth, because that's for you to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
526.
526. Okay. Where are we? Here. Hi.
Hi, I'm Olivia.
Hi, Olivia.
I really liked your speech. I think it was a great topic. And I liked your personal stories as well. Really good.
Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie.
I also really liked your speech. I thought it was a really great message. One thing, I would have liked to hear a personal story for your last action. I think, you didn't have much time, so yeah. But I think it would have been really interesting to hear how you in your own life have used that last action to benefit yourself.
Okay, good. Thank you. Isabel, you talked about kind of I guess what I call it is sort of you encourage people to view an action that happens to all of us in life as not a negative thing, but as transform it into a positive thing, correct? And it's sort of like you get a lemon, you make lemonade, was the essence of your thesis, right? And I think that's sound. Just an overarching view of this thing is that this was very much, I disagree a little bit with the last comment. I thought you had quite a few stories. I would have liked to have just a touch more research on the psychology of dealing with rejection and failure and that sort of thing. It's hard to find, I know, but and you did have the profile of the admitted freshman as your research, but more of that would have been helpful, because that was sort of more of the thrust of the assignment, was to show arguments from authority. And really, you were a good authority of yourself, of sharing with us your experiences, but some authorities of dealing with the rejection would have been good. I was laughing to myself at your statistics about the out-of-state people, because the regents just were getting horrible pressure from the governor and the state legislature to cut down on the number of out-of-state people coming in, and because they were getting very bitter letters from parents of people in California who had 4.3 GPAs, and they're going, well, why is my daughter going to Cal State Northridge? So I think that that things are changing with that respect, and so I think that I'd just be careful about that example. That's a pretty high admission rate when you consider that 102,000 applied to UCLA. Of the overall applicants last year. That would have been a much more dramatic figure to present for the freshman class of 2018. That's a big rejection. More like 190,000 people got no letters from UCLA, right? So on your motivator for positive change, you told us first the story, which I thought was excellent. His name was Brian, right? Yeah. He was afraid to try, and he went to Connecticut, and he hated it. And then he transferred. He got the courage up a little bit with your help, and he got into Chapman. So that was a sort of a before and after story, and I liked that, and that was good. I would have liked you to have spent a little bit more time, but just a little bit more time on you. I felt good about helping him make that transition. Okay. On your second reason, increase confidence in yourself. Here you had to use your personal story again with the type of particular dance you were trying to transition to, and it was a compelling story that you were kind of afraid at first, but you made the transition, did get onto a team, so that was a compelling story. So that worked okay. Again, I felt great when I finally made that success and turned some rejection into failure. Your actions were consistent with your thesis, and the benefits, I think, were, good too. Summary, conclusion, and tieback were fine. You're nice. Say less. Use more vocal variety and cover every part of my outline. How did it go?
Well, I got every part of the outline. I just forgot how I felt.
Right.
The part D on the last one.
Okay.
I know I said a couple times, but hopefully less than...
It was less. It really was. I was looking for it when I saw that was one of your canais, and it was less, so you've made progress there.
And I think I used vocal variety, because when I did it really quickly earlier, without it, it took less time.
Yeah. I think you're a very likable speaker. You were very earnest in your presentation. I thought you were very sincere, and that came through. That was nice. Let's talk about the stickiness of this. Whether this is a simple idea or whether this was too simple or overly complex or something, I'm not sure. I just, I understand where you were saying use rejection as a motivator for success. But, so what was the thing that you were trying to present here that was going to blow our minds, that was just completely out of nowhere? What was unusual?
I feel like people take rejection so hardly, and for them to think that they could be numb to it and it wouldn't affect them, I think is crazy for some people to think about.
Okay. And again, your credibility was good. You could have had more credibility by citing research on this phenomenon. And you had plenty of stories, so that was good. So you did a good job. You got the job done, a little bit long, so you got to watch out and time these things and cut out some of the stuff so you're sure you don't go overtime when you're given a certain amount of time to do a dance or a speech or something. People want you to respect the time, I'll just give you a quick anecdote. Even Professor Judea Pearl, who won the Nobel Prize in computing, ran out of time, didn't do a good time allocation, and his big second argument he never got to because he didn't allocate his time well enough. And he even admitted to me after, he said, I wish I'd spent less time on this argument so I could have gotten to my second argument. So this is all a long lifetime of learning process, Okay, thank you very much, Isabel. Okay, let's hear from, I was just going to call you. Chiara. Hang on just a second, please. Give me just a moment, please. Okay, Chiara. She stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes, near the front and center. Say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
Hi everyone, my name is Kiara.
Hi, Chiara.
From red Solo cups to toothbrushes, and chewing gum to the mean greeny stapler on that desk. All of these items have one thing in common. They're all made from plastic. Plastic is everywhere, and it will continue to be everywhere unless change is made. Today, I want to persuade you to use less plastic in your everyday lives. I will give you 2 reasons why you should reduce your use of plastic, 3 actions that we can all individually take to reduce our use of plastic, and 2 benefits that will come from making such a lifestyle change. We live in a world where everything has some amount of plastic in it, and we as humans have a dependency on plastic, and it has been shown that this dependency has harmful ramifications. So the first reason why you should all reduce your use of plastic is because plastic has been known to be detrimental to our environment, especially the marine environment. According to CNN reporter Kieran Monks, in 2016, 311 million tons of plastic were produced in the year 2014, and projects that at one point there will be more plastic than fish in the ocean in the year of 2050. When I read the statistic, I was shocked. The idea of there being more trash than fish in the ocean is something that's completely unimaginable to me. We're all familiar of that picture of like a sea otter trapped in plastic. Imagine how frequent that will happen when there's more trash in the ocean. Another problem with plastic is because plastic is not fully biodegradable. It breaks down over time, but it never really fully goes away. So this will lead to an accumulation of plastic particles, which has been shown to enter the bloodstream of fish and also our bloodstreams because we're consuming the fish, and plastic is kind of everywhere. So for the fact that plastic affects our environment, especially our marine environment, is one reason why we should all reduce our use of plastic. The next reason why you should reduce your use of plastic is because plastic has been shown to have effects on human health. According to a study published in the U.S. National Library of Medicine in 2011, plastic products are linked with cancer and also developmental and reproductive effects. This is partly because of the chemicals that are within plastic. We all love plastic for its flexibility, our bendy straws and our slinkies and all of that kind of stuff. But to get this flexibility, a lot of chemicals have to go into the production of plastic. So these chemicals have been shown to actually leak into whatever's inside of the plastic. So for example, take a water bottle. A water bottle has water in it, but when you put a water bottle in the sunlight or in really high temperatures, a lot of the chemicals have actually been shown to seep into the water. And so we're drinking plastic essentially and all the chemicals that are in plastic. And this affects everyone. It affects women, it affects children, it affects men, because we're all consuming things that have plastic packaging. So now that I've given you the reasons why we should all reduce our use of plastic, I want to give you 3 super simple actions that we can all take individually to make a difference. 1, just don't use plastic water bottles. Looking around, I can see so many. Just use a Hydro Flask or a reusable water bottle. It's not that hard. Secondly, when you go grocery shopping, you bring your own bag. Don't rely on the plastic bags. There's no point. You can just bring a backpack and it's just as easy. And then third, just don't use straws. It's easy just to not use a straw, and you might think, oh, 1 straw won't make a difference. But if you stop using straws for a long time of your life, the accumulation of all that plastic will be prevented. So when you take these actions, you will receive benefits, obviously. 1, you'll feel happy because you're actually taking a proactive stance on environmental and health problems. And secondly, people actually say that when you don't use plastic, you can actually save money. Because when you buy a product, you're not only paying for what's inside, you're paying for the packaging. So just going and buying the food item that you want and not the plastic package, you can actually save money. So in summary, I have shown you 2 reasons why you should reduce your use of plastic, 3 actions that you can take in your life to reduce plastic use, and 2 benefits that will come from making such a change. So there should be no doubt in this room that we should all take an active role in reduce our use of plastic. As I mentioned earlier, plastic is in everything. It's in our red Solo cups, toothbrushes, and even that stapler. And it will continue to be a huge problem for our environment and for our health if we don't take a change and don't take a stand to make a change. So, thank you.
4:45.
Where are we? Here. The Smash Brothers. What's that?
It's a video game.
Oh, there you go.
Hi, Felix.
Hi, Felix.
I really like your speech. It really showed that you have passion against plastic. It really showed that you have a love for the world and the environment. So,
Good.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Leah.
I also like your speech. I think that at the end, you kind of not lost it, but you could have had a stronger ending.
Okay.
You were just kind of and then I'm done.
Yeah. I was just
Yeah,
concerned about the time.
there's a poem that says you want to end on a bang, not a whimper, you know,
Yeah.
and I felt you whimpered at the end. And you want to kind of really come to a climax at the end. And anybody else have a comment? Okay, let me get to this. Kiara, well, gosh, I love being the introduction in your speech. Thank you. Red cups, yes. Toothbrushes, chewing gum, yes. Plastic. I was laughing because there was a very famous movie in the 70s called The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman, and this old man was giving his son-in-law advice, and he says, "The future is plastic." And Dustin Hoffman just looked at this guy like, "You are so full of something." Yeah. So you chose a unique topic. It was really unexpected, I thought. I don't think anyone came in today expecting to hear the evils of plastic. So that was interesting and good. Your thesis preview was good. Your SIG statement was, right to the point. And it was dealt with the benefits or the problems that we will have if we continue on our present course. On your first reason, you cited CNN reporter, and in 2016, and I like the fact that you gave it, the full citation, and you gave it had a really dramatic number, which you emphasized with your voice. We had an 11 million tons more than the fish. That was really good. Between you and me as a debate coach, CNN doesn't really cut it as a great source in the world, but in real life, I guess people love CNN or Fox News, but those two are kind of,
I just liked it because it was a dramatic quote. So.
Yeah. You got the dramatic quote, but those dramatic quotes are out there in other places that are more credible, like the New York Times or something along that line, yeah. Your elaboration on that, of your statistics of them being trapped, and the picture of that was excellent. I know I've taken many whale watching boat rides, and the boatmaster would always stop and pick up those 6-packs of that are floating all over Monterey Bay, and it's disgusting. But we actually, saw one trapped in a beak, and it's deadly. Yeah. It's bad. So that was a good first reason. Thank you for using the Chicago citation style. On your second reason, a more credible source. Thank you. Library of Medicine, National Library of Medicine, good. Straws and Slinky, okay. I don't know if those are the big plastic consumers in the world, but okay. I think your best example was the leakage of plastic into water bottles and into, because they're just so common and people use them all the time and reuse them and don't realize that they're drinking plastic, to put it bluntly. So that was good. On your actions, good. All consistent with your thesis. Saving money, maybe. Didn't really buy it. Summary, good. Conclusion, good. Tie back, excellent. Don't go over the time limit. Vary my hand gestures and have vocal variety. How did it go?
Oh, I improved in the timing, for sure. I tried to use more